All right, what's going on, everybody? I thought I can take this time out of my day to reflect on the recent 10-year anniversary for House of Balloons by The Weeknd, aka Table, what the fuck? Abel Tesfaye, right? I bought this whole entire collection last year around this time of March. And I had heard of House of Balloons. I want to say 2019, late 2019. And I didn't think much of it. I only heard like a couple songs here and there. Like I heard House of Balloons, Glass Table Girls, and maybe a little bit of Wicked Games. But I hadn't heard anything else other than that. Oh, and The Knowing. But other than that, I didn't hear The Morning or Loft Music, or I didn't hear about Coming Down or High for This or any of the other songs off of House of Balloons. I only heard the mixtape, like bits and pieces of it. And then 2020, actually before the pandemic happened, I decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna play the whole entire album or the mixtape front to back, and I'm just gonna enjoy it. And I'm so happy that I did, because it really changed my life and how I viewed R&B music. Like around this time, 2011. Let me see. I was 11 years old. I'm 21 now. I was still in elementary school, and I was like playing like Pokemon Black and listening to like Drake, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and freaking J. Cole on the radio every single morning from and to school on the bus. And I wasn't really thinking about The Weeknd at the time. I wasn't even thinking about music at the time. I mean, what 11-year-old was thinking about music at the time? Unless like you're very like, passionate at, whatever. But I wasn't really into music the way that I am now. I heard The Weeknd like bits and pieces, back in the day. Like, he was on Drake's Crew Love. I heard him there, and I always kept on saying, loving the crew, loving the crew. I was singing that shit like 2011, 2012, man, to the bottom of my heart. And still to this day, that's how I found out about The Weeknd. And as the years went on, freaking, I heard more and more about him, like, the VMAs and the music awards, that, and even musically before it became TikTok, The Hills blew up. Freaking, I Can't Feel My Face was just easily one of my favorite favorite songs, period, and just one of my favorite Weeknd songs ever, because I have such a Michael Jackson vibe. And then I just been following him ever since then. At the time, wasn't really a big Weeknd fan until I really came back and listened to the whole entire trilogy as a whole of House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence. And I was floored. I was like, damn, like The Weeknd's back catalog is great. I never thought that The Weeknd had this under his wheelhouse. And now I know why people, put House of Balloons and all of his other early work on such high regards, like being, classic and, one of the most influential R&B projects to come out in the last couple of years. And I was like, whoa, this shit's crazy. And, it makes you really think, like, man, like The Weeknd really you can hear it in the music, like he was in the grit and the devils of the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from how he recorded it, the way the vocals were mixed, the way the samples were placed, the way the lyrics are so hedonistic and, misogynistic at times, and so druggy and so atmospheric and so dark and so moody and atmospheric. Like, it puts you, on the first track on High for This, it puts you into that world that, you're going to be in for some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me simultaneously feel bad for The Weeknd. At the same time, he's doing all this to women, bringing them over to these parties and the crazy and drug life. You know what I'm saying? It's just so intoxicatingly dark. And that's why I really loved about House of Balloons my first time listening to it, of how it, the darkness and the levity of it really related to me. Because at the time I was going through a lot of shit with a recent breakup at the time. And when I put The Knowing on, I shit you not, it was freshman year, I want to say 2019, and it was around, I want to say, let's air, like, curveball it, like April or Mayish. I remember I was in my room just like legit tearing the fuck up, because I was like, damn, like the feelings of that relationship was still like present. It was still fresh. And I legit cried to that song like a whole bunch of times. And I was like, wow, this song really spoke to me in a really deep and emotional level. And I hadn't had a song made me feel like that in such a long time. And it made me regret not listening to the whole entire mixtape as its entirety at the time, when I was like just listening to it bits and pieces, you know? And that song and just other songs off of this album, off of this mixtape, is just fantastically composed. I didn't listen to the original. Again, I only listened to the trilogy version, so I don't know about the samples. And I went back, and listened to the samples, or whatever, the Rock the Boat sample, with the second track off of this record, and even like the Japanese vocal chops on Coming Down. I didn't even know about that. Like, there was a lot of samples off of the mixtapes or whatever, but I guess, because of sample clearances, they couldn't, put it in there. So, but I still enjoy this version of House of Balloons more than the original. I think the original, the production was very thin, and I feel like, you could definitely tell, like, it was very rushed. It was very raw. It was very unpolished. And, it was, a quality that a lot of people liked at the time. And, I still love this version of the record more, in my opinion. But the original, it makes you really appreciate, I guess the mindset, and I guess the time, the timestamp that The Weeknd was on at the time. But yeah, 10 years, man. 10 years. This album still blows me away. It still makes me feel stuff to this day. I played this record like freaking habitually. Like, like actually, The Weeknd was actually my most played artist of last year because of the trilogy and because of Kissland. Because I went back and listened to all of his older shit and even his newer shit as well too. Because I was really going through a dark time, and House of Balloons gives me that rapture of comfort. Like whenever I'm just really down and out, and people are like just not looking me a certain way, or people are just like doing me dirty, playing me as a joke. I'm losing friends, a lot of failed relationships. I'm crying. I'm in the brink of losing somebody, or whatever dark mode or whatever dark mood I was in, or whatever twisted I guess situation or scenario I was in. This album always like brought me back, because dark music always kind of comforts me instead of like happy music. Like I feel like this record kind of really, despite of me not relating to it at all, of The Weeknd's going whatever he's talking about, I still sense a really sense of darkness and loneliness and sadness with this record. And it's a sadness, and it's a darkness that I can relate to, because I really like dark music a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. This album, this record really changed my life. If it wasn't for this record and Kendrick and a couple of other albums I was listening to at the time, like some rap songs, I don't know where I'd be right now. Like this record kept me whole and kept me afloat and kept me sane through the times I was brink of, I'm not gonna say the word because freaking YouTube is gonna get my ass about it, but y'all get it, the S word. And this record just reminded me that that shit fucking happens, that this is fucking reality. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad House, but let's talk about the music real quick instead of I guess how my experience with the record is. The music is fantastic. The music is freaking fantastic. I think my favorite track off of it is obviously House of Balloons, Glass Table Girls, probably Wicked Games. I just freaking love the roaring guitar to down down doom 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 doom. Like, it's so brash, it's so harsh. And then the Weeknd's vocals, I left my girl back home, I love her no more. Like, what? And just what I'm saying, like the lyrics can come off a little like obviously plain and very obvious, but it's just the way he says it, bro. Like, The Weeknd has a great way of saying the same thing over and over, but like every time that you listen to it, it's like a whole new freaking song and a whole new experience, man. Like that song, every single time that comes on, I just have to like roar it up in raw volume. Like, that song, it's so it captures the essence of rawness and R&B, and you don't really get that with a lot of artists. The Weeknd is really rare, and making and what I'm saying rare is a lot of R&B artists at the time wasn't doing the shit that the Weeknd was doing, combining this dark and very moody, very atmospheric, music, and it just kind of evoked a very really like twisted emotion and atmosphere. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but Wicked Games coming down. Like every time it's a cloudy day, I love to skate to that song. I always want you when I'm coming down. It's so atmospheric. I feel like I'm in a haze of just drugs and partying and women, and I feel like I just can't get out of it. Like I'm trying to leave the party, but it's just so much smoke. There's just so much things going on that is blocking my vision. I can't get out. I feel like I'm literally coming down. Like maybe the song sounds like I'm coming off of a high. I'm coming down from something crazy. It's oh man, and the knowing, don't even get me started on the knowing. If you're heartbroken, bro, I swear to God, the song hits so different. It hits so different. It hits so different. You know what I'm saying? There's some high points on this album where like the energy's on freaking 10, and then when the album wants to go down, it wants to go down. And freaking the party and the after party. Oh my Lord, yo. Like, yo, the after party. And that's why I love this record, because I had some moments when I was in college where, I had a girl at the time, and we used to, to that song. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was great. So, I like that song for the memory that it brought me at the time. And then even, the party, with your Louis V bag, tats on your arm, high heel shorts make you feel, you get what I'm saying. I'm too tired right now to even remember the lyrics, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, I really love the lyrics. It's so memorable. This album is memorable. The hooks are memorable. The lyrics are so memorable. It's so dark. It's so moody. Like, you can still enjoy this music and still be in a relatively better place in your life. But I feel like when, for people who are like low key in like their teens and their early 20s and who's really gone through some shit, this record is going to hit so different for y'all. So yeah, I still enjoy Echoes of Silence. I think Echoes of Silence is low-key a better record in my ears, because I just feel like it just refined all of the things that the Weeknd was doing on House of Balloons and Thursday, and I think he brought and everything came together on Echoes of Silence. And I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about Echoes of Silence like that, but I still got to give props to what House of Balloons did for R&B. I mean, shit, we wouldn't have artists like Brent Faiyaz in the game, and Party Next Door, or any other toxic R&B artist that y'all claim to love, if it wasn't for the Weeknd. We got a lot of people being mysterious and shit. The Weeknd at the time was super notorious for being mysterious and not being in the public like that, and you see your favorite R&B artists doing it all the time. So the Weeknd definitely had his impact in the music industry, not just R&B in general. So again, I wish I listened to this record when I was 11, but again, I was on some other shit back when I was 11. I was playing Beyblades and watching fucking anime when I didn't even know it was anime. I was watching Naruto and freaking going outside and riding bikes and shit at the time. I wasn't fucking listening to the goddamn trilogy. But either way, man, Abel, Tesfaye, The Weeknd, I'm so happy that I listened to this record. Thank y'all, man. If you guys listen to this record, or are the first time you listen to this record, or even the day it came out, tell me what's your favorite song about it. What's your favorite moment, your favorite memory? How has this aged, and how has this lived up to your expectations in your ears 10 years now? You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, I'm not going to edit this because I'm too fucking lazy, and I'd rather let the video speak for itself. So thank you, Abel, for 10 years of this masterpiece. I love you, everyone. Thank you guys for listening and watching. And, yeah, peace.